folks, welcome to my These Are My People National Scrapbook Day workshop. I'm going to give you a brief description, but I have provided nice written instructions for you to use also. I apologize for these pictures of the cutting guides. I used pencil and graph paper. Didn't take a picture very well, but there's also instructions here that I've typed out that will help you get your pieces for all your layouts put together correctly. I want to show you what I use to separate, like see this first one is layouts 3 and 4. This one's layouts 1 and 2. I use this little folded card. We use these for cards way back when we did a workshop, and I made one for everybody that came. So you should still have this hanging around, but if you don't, then you can just put the things in piles. But definitely keep all your pieces separate after you've cut them. Okay? So if you don't have something like this, make sure you put things in piles. And you would only have 5 piles by the time you're done, because I've done them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 9 and 10. So, you know, it should be fairly simple that way. But these will be your cutting guides, and this tells you the paper and cardstock for your background pieces. And then these are more instructions about the specific layouts and some nice color pictures. So you'll all get a copy of this in your email. Now, a couple of things. Everyone will have this packet in their little cardstock pack that I made up for you. So in that little envelope, you'll see you'll have pieces that go to the specific layouts. Everyone will have all these same pieces. This one it says Good Times. This piece right here, it's stuck in here. Good Times. The TIMS is in here, these little pieces here. And then you'll all have extras. I think maybe extra of these, but there's 3 of these. And then there's other letters. And then you'll have 3 open hearts like this. And those we're going to glue together to make a thicker embellishment. Almost like the plastic ones that they sell. And the same with the inside of that heart, which is this. There's 3 of them, and you're going to glue those together also. These little pieces will end up being little flagged things that go behind a photo. Tags or whatever you want to call them. This is a little journal block, you'll see that. And then this is actually the background for a title piece. So everybody has all these pieces in their little bag inside their kit. This is the stencil. This is going to be used as a stencil. I actually had a stencil, and if we were able to meet, we would have all shared the stencil to do one of the backgrounds. But this will work the same, and then you actually have a piece to put on another layout when it's done. It'll be covered in blue, but that's pretty, the Carolina. Or you can just flip it over and use white. So that you're going to have. And then everybody will have all these cardstock sheets, and then some of these extra ones I put in here because you couldn't get that out of what I gave you to cut, so I cut them for you. And you'll notice that these 2 are not just plain. These are actually 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. So, or yeah, 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, not 4 by 6. So they're bigger, and they all are the same size. You'll cut some of the others out of cardstock that's in this pack. And then these are all your border strips. Well, I say all, the ones that you don't cut, the glitter ones. So everybody has this in their workshop. Most of you got the stamp set, this one, that came with the kit. Not everybody, but if you didn't, then you'll have to substitute flowers for what I stamped. And then this one is the stamp of the month from March. And not everybody got this one either. But you can always random stamp the background. And it's not even the whole background because most of the background is covered on that page. But some of it isn't. And I use this rather than use a pattern piece of cardstock for the background. We'll be using this stamp right here in it. And actually, I drew a name, so there's a person that has won this stamp set for the workshop. I actually figured I would have a prize here for people if they came, so I decided to do a prize, and that stamp set will be in your bag if you are the winner. So those are the stamp sets we're using. A couple of things. The first thing I think you should do is get your water pen and your watercolors and pick out the number of cards, the pieces of white cardstock that are background sheets that have the splatter technique on them. I think there's 4, there may be 6. And then you're going to do this technique on them. And then there's, on 1 and 2, the cut pieces are the ones that you're going to do this on. I used this color right here, this blue, on some, and the pink on the other. I'll show you the pink. So then you're just going to go like this. Well, there you go. You have to hit it pretty hard. You can also use a pencil to do this, to hit it on if you want. But then you're going to get a little splatter. And you can do it as much or as little as you like, but it comes out like that. It just gives it a little something on the background, that so the plain paper isn't so white. And then you want to do this ahead and let it sit to dry, because that's going to take a little bit to dry. So you want to do that right away on the background sheets. So that's one technique that we're doing. Another technique we're going to do is what I like to call the swish wash. So this time I'll try to use the pink. Well, I think we actually used the blue for this one though, so maybe I'll just stick with the blue. So you take the blue like this and you get a little bit of paint in it, and then you're just going to go shoop, 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 shoop. That'll have to dry too before you stamp on top of that, because you do have to stamp on top of that. But see what a nice technique that is? You can achieve very similar results if you want to stamp with this stamp right here in the stamp set. It will do the same kind of thing. So it's your preference. I did use the paint. I did not use the stamp. So if you want to do like me, you gotta use the stamp. But the paint will do the same, or the paint will do, or you gotta use the paint if you're gonna do it like me. The stamp was used, you can use it also, if you decide you'd rather do that. So that's 2 of the techniques. The third thing I want to show you is the flower technique. You're going to be making a lot of these flowers. The big one is this one with the 3 leaves, and the small one is this one with the 2 leaves. Has 2 leaves on it right here, 1, 2. And what you're going to do is, I've told you how many in the instructions to stamp, but you're going to take the black stamp pad, and I just used a plain black. I didn't use, because we're not going to be using watercolor on it, we're going to be using ink, so this works just fine. You want to ink it up well. Make sure it's good and covered with your ink. Tap it around the whole pad, because different parts of the pad have more or less ink on them. Take your stamp and just press down firmly and count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Lift. And you should have a really good image. I'm going to do the small one too, so you see a different, I'll do the little one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that one didn't come out quite as good, but I probably didn't, well, it didn't take the ink off it. You should do it on a foam anyways, that will help you. But that one's okay. It doesn't matter, because wait till you see what we're going to do to it, so you probably wouldn't even notice it anyways. So, alright. Then you need to get out your makeup brushes. The brushes that I used are this one. This one's a little wet still, but this one and this narrow one. This narrow one's kind of fun, and I use it for the leaves, so it's this one. It's the bigger of the 2. You could use the smaller one. That may work on the smaller leaves if you want to do, say, these little ones in here. The colors I used on these are Green Apple, Carolina, and Pixie. So the pink ones are the Pixie, the blue ones are the Carolina, and the leaves are done with Green Apple. So I'll do one in Pixie and I'll do one in blue for you and show you how I do it. Take your brush, just rub it around in your ink. Get some ink on the brush. And then you start in the center. And you want to make the center the darkest, and you just go out. And I would suggest doing this after you've stamped however many you need to stamp on your paper. And just keep rubbing it out. If you want it nice and dark, put a little more in there. It will dry a little lighter, but that's how it looks. And then if you want to do the blue one, close up the pink. Done with that one. Open up the blue. Give it a little rub. And then you're going to rub in the center of this one too, just like that. It's actually pulled out some of the color of the ink because the brush was a little wet. It won't do that with a dry brush. Let these dry a little bit before you try to do this. It'll make it come out better, but I didn't let it dry very long. And this brush was a little wet from use. I used it earlier. Now on the green, you're going to take the little green ink pad, and on the leaves are a little different. You're going to ink it up like that. Just rub it across your thing. And then you're going to go down your center where your little line is, because you want the center of your leaf to be the darkest. And then you just kind of rub it back and forth over the center. Rub it back and forth a little bit over the center till you get enough color that you like the way it looks. Let's see how it gives it a little. And then you can do these the same way, down the center, and then just kind of across. And you should do it beforehand, because then if some of it gets out here, you can just cut it off. It doesn't matter. And then if you want to do these little ones, you really got to be careful with them. You just got to do a little bit like that, a little bit like that. Just a little hint. You don't need a whole lot. And even if you miss it a little bit, it doesn't matter. It's going to look very light and soft anyways. And I'm not really particular about it, but then when you cut it out, you aren't going to see where I messed up. And then you're going to fussy cut all of the flowers. Another flower that we use, and you'll have to fussy cut a few of, is this little daisy here. She needs to get cut out. And you're just going to stamp her in black too. Where's my black? I'm just going to stamp her in black, just like the others. Give her a little, there she is. And that's a little more fussy to cut, but you got to cut a few of them, not a lot. And I'll show you when I show you the layouts, which ones have the cut ones and which ones. And you're actually going to use this one to stamp right on the layout too. So there's a mixture of both things, stamping directly on the paper and stamping ahead. So I would do the stamping ahead so you're ready to go, and the fussy cutting ahead, so that you can be ready to put your layouts together once you get everything prepped. So that was that. Next I'll start with each layout and show you particulars on each one that you'll want to do. All that can go up here. Just gonna get out of my way. Layouts. Here they are. Alright, so layout 1. Layout 2. Now you'll notice when these are together, these things line up. These little striped things line up. This one starts in a little ways, and this one, how I did the banner part of this one was I actually glued this piece with a little thin behind the pink, behind the peach, and then when I did my flagging here, I used a ruler to measure center, and then I just cut it with a little line. I made a little line with my ruler to make the flagging there. This layout, you'll see I have used the stamp I told you from the stamp of the month here, this one. This right here, this piece right here, to stamp the background of this layout. So you really only need to stamp the edges of the paper. A little wider here, but here, and then here, and here, and then over here. I mean, you don't have to stamp the whole thing because you don't see it because it's covered. These pieces here that you've cut are the ones that have the splatter technique on it with the pink. And here's where we did the swish swash. This title is actually stamped on there, as this is a stamp in that stamp set also. And here's our little flowers that we did. This one is popped. These two are down on the bottom. And right here, you'll see I've used the little leaf part of that stamp. Right up here in the corner, this little leaf, and stamped directly on the layout. After I have everything placed, you can go in pretty easily with a small stamp block and just get right in there. I kind of put the stamp up in the corner of my block so I can get right in there and just like that with it. That works good. You'll notice here, this is from the sticker sheet, and it's from this part right here, and you'll want to cut only 5 off to put here because you're going to use the other ones on another page. So you cut 5 of the little scallops off and you put it there. And other than that, this is done. I did some stickles, some silver stickles in the centers and around. Just kind of some dots, random. And that's that one, with a little zip strip at the top. This one, I don't know if I include the measurements, but you can, you know, lay it there and just trim it with your scissor. This side, this is actually one of the daisies we cut out, and there's one of the swishes. Daisies we cut out and glued there. And then these are this little, there's a little flower in here, right here. This one and this one. And I stamped that directly on the paper. This one is a cutout, and I glued it down, and then I used that branch, and there's a heart in there too. I stamped the heart in between. This is a sticker. This is a sticker. This is one of our stamped pieces. These are stickers. These are stamped, and this is stamped. Making memories together. These are stickers, and then together is a stamp in your kit. This little heart is popped. And this heart is the 3 that are in your solid hearts. You glue them together to make a dimensional embellishment for your page. So that's page 1 and 2. Page 3 and page 4. There they are together. Actually, they go this way. That. This right here is the swish swash technique again. This is a sticker. This is a sticker. This comes off your sheet, and when it comes off your sheet, you'll have some edging of that still around here. Save that because we're going to use that on another piece. See how I cut it out? You can see I used my trimmer to cut that out. We used it on another page, but this is actually a sticker. Here's some more of our flowers. This one's popped. This one's one of the hearts we stamped. That's popped. This flower is popped, and this one is down. A sticker. Fun Days is a sticker on the sticker sheet. And then this is a zip strip up here, the polka dotted zip strip at the top. On this page, you'll want to lay this one down and leave the top up a little, or don't put it down, just kind of pencil mark it, because you want to stamp this round semicircle. You're going to see only a semicircle, but you stamp the whole thing right there, and then right on the page. And then on this one's popped. This one is down tight. This right here, I just used some pixie ink with a sponge and went around the edges. This is actually stamped on there after I glued that. Or you can stamp it first and then glue that and kind of put it down there in the corner. That probably would work too. It would be easier. Cover up the little end of the branch. So this is stamped, and this is a little embellishment that you've cut out. And the little X's are from the sticker sheet also. So that's 3 and 4, guys. 3 and 4. Here's 5 and 6. on this one, you'll notice I resurrected some old things that whenever you're doing things, it's fun to get out what you already have and try to reuse it. So I had these little bows. You probably all have them because they were so cute we couldn't resist them when they came out, from Beautiful Friendship. They actually go very well with the smoothie paper. This is the paper. These are those two photo mats you have in your kit. There's two here that are 4 1/4 by 6 1/2, or 6 1/4. They're all 4 1/4. The other ones you cut out of a sheet of paper you have, but these ones I cut for you because you needed extra, and it doesn't come out of a 12 by 12 very easily, so you have to use 2 sheets to get that many that many mats out. But this is one of the ones we've done the splatter technique with the blue and the swish swash here. And this title is actually stamped right on the paper. Now, if you have a stamping tool that will accommodate a scrapbook page, it would be best to use that kind of a stamping tool. If not, make sure you have your piece. It's a fairly big piece right here. Love these people. Make sure that's good and well inked before you stamp it down, and make sure you hold it down there and count to at least 5 and give it good even pressure. You'll notice that this part is solid. Love these. But the people is actually distressed with like a little line design. So that's normal. That's the way it stamps. So if you look at your stamp, you'll see that. These little daisies stamp fairly easy right around it. And I used a little stickles in the center of them, as did I down here. This one is down flat. This is a sticker. Oh, that's another little thing I want to show you. When you have the stickers and they have the stick-em on the back and you want to raise it, put your dimensional tape, I use tape, on the back of it. Leave this piece on there till you want to put it down. And then before you take this piece off, you're going to go with your little embossing buddy. Just like that. Because the embossing buddy actually has, I think, cornstarch or something in it. And it's just like a fine powder. And it takes the sticky away from any sticker that you want to use. You just use this, or you can use talcum powder. It'll make your layout smell fun if you use a talcum powder, but either one will work. You don't need any fancy tools. So that's how I did that. And then I embellished with a little bow there, and then I again stamped the little branch right on the border. And that's how that one looks. This page, very similar. I put there's a sticker that's this green little arrowy kind of thing, and that goes right there. And then this one's solid down on the page. This is the other one that I did the 3 pieces together, and you glue them all together, and a couple of the little daisies and your little bow. And that would be layouts 5 and 6. Layouts 7 and 8. 7 and 8. We'll start with page 7. This is the Pixie cardstock, and you'll notice this is a shorter striped piece, goes here. Actually, I started from this way in because you want to put this pinkish color raspberry and pixie piece going from the inside edge to out. And then you'll have a strip that you've cut of the raspberry, and it's the julep, raspberry, and black there, and then I put this down. And then you can put this together here. This is just the pieces from your little envelope that go together, and that's the letters that are loose, T-I-M-E-S, and the I and the M and the S are loose. And I used the glue pen to adhere that, only because this little frame around here is very delicate, as are some of these letters here. These are more sturdy, but they're fairly delicate, so you want to take care with that. And this holds very well, so you're good there. Here's the little flag pieces that are in there, and you're going to stamp better together up here. And then this is actually a sticker from your sticker sheet, and you can color that the same way you colored yours with the inks. This page, number 8, this is the one where I told you. You have this little journal piece in there, and see, here's where I used that nice leftover from that border of the first page. I just cut it with my trimmer, and I pieced it right here, but you can't tell I pieced it there. And this can even be open down there because you're covering it with flowers. So don't worry about fitting it all the way around, perfectly, because you're going to have a half of it covered on the bottom corner. So use what you have. This is a little sticker. This is a sticker. These are all flat. These stickers are all down flat. This one right here is popped up. And that one is actually a sticker too, so you'll want to use your powder on the back of it. That one's popped up. And I colored it the same, or that one was colored, I think. That one looks more like a peach color, but it looks nice together with the pixie. So that is layout 7 and 8. Layouts 9 and 10. Layout 9 and 10. This one I made up myself. I was quite proud of this. I loved this paper down here, that Carolina paper with the bluebird. It's so pretty. And I thought that the sapphire set it off nice also, the sapphire photo mats. So on this page, you'll see that you cut this sheet in half. And you're going to fussy cut around the scallops, like I did here. Kind of making sure that they kind of line up in the center. Mine don't perfectly, but no one's going to notice that because there's enough photo mats and enough going on the pages that it isn't going to quite matter that they don't completely match. And then you'll have a little piece of the sapphire here to put in the background. Now this is the part on your sticker sheet right here. And the heart will have already been used somewhere else. Oh yeah, the heart gets used on another page. Was used on another page. So you'll have just the outside again here, but that's here. And then I just used a piece of the little green and white paper and stuck it behind there because it's a sticker. You can stick it right, just cut a piece, randomly cut a piece and just stick it behind there. And then I popped up this little piece that I stamped with a heart. And then I used, these are where I used the silver glitter gems. But you could use anything. You could use pearls, you could use gold, you could use whatever color you like. Pink, it could be anything. You could use anything on this page. You don't have to necessarily use silver. It would work. And then here's your little leaves that I cut for you with a die. And then this one is popped, this one is popped, this one is flat. This one is popped, and there's your leaves again. And on this page, this one is down tight, this one is down tight, this one is popped. That's tucked down first, and I actually used the glue pen to put these down too because they're pretty fine. The background, how you do the background. I gave you a little doily, a white paper doily in your kit, and this is what I'm talking about with that technique. You put your doily down, and then you just take your blue ink, your Carolina ink, and you just kind of go around. And you can make it dark. I made it darker there, but it goes off the edge, and it kind of gives it kind of a little faded. It really looks nice. I like the way it faded into the background, but yet you get that white, that nice white paper coming through. So that's it, folks. There's the layouts, and I hope you enjoyed the workshop, and you'll have fun on National Scrapbook Day. I really do wish we could have done this together. I still miss all you guys, so take care and stay safe.